14 to 16 hours, it's time to go ahead and bring our cinnamon rolls out of the cooler. Let's bring the rack to our station and we're going to go to the proof box and take its temperature. If your refrigerator runs hot, ideally your refrigerator is 36 degrees or less. If you have the door open a lot and you come and go, your proof time might be a little less in the retarder because it's warmer in your refrigerator, and so you might only need 12 hours in the refrigerator and your dough would be ready. Let's go ahead to the proof box. This is a proof box. It gives you a temperature setting. We're looking for 85 to 95 degrees. It's summertime up here right now, so since we have a lot of humidity already in the room, that we can actually go with the lower range. For the temperature, the kitchen is actually hotter than this right now. The kitchen's running about 85 degrees. So we're setting the humidity also a little bit lower. We need 75 to 85 degrees humidity. And then the timer is just to help us reminder to go check it whenever we go in. Inside the proof box, we have a cart that we're going to transfer our product to. There's baffles in the wall which help control the air and the humidity. So we don't need to have a bag over the product like we did in the refrigerator, because when we put it in here, there's enough moisture in the cabinet, it won't form a skin. So we're going to take the temperature of our dough coming out of the cooler. Normally, when you take the product out of the refrigerator, you're looking for a dough temperature between 50 and 55 degrees so that when you put it in the box, we don't shock the yeast. We want to let it sit on the floor for about 10 minutes to warm up just a touch before we put it in the proof box. It takes the chill from the sheet pans off by letting the sheet pans warm up to the kitchen temperature. Then we're going to put the product in the box and let it go until it's double in size or until the dough leaves a dimple when you press it. So right now the dough is still very firm, but it's fully thawed. So we'll come back in 10 minutes. Our dough's up to 55 degrees now. We're going to go ahead and put it in the proof box to get it started. On the really big rolls, you want to leave plenty of space between. So if you have some skinny racks, leave one extra space between. For smaller rolls, we can put them next to each other, one shelf at a time. And for really tiny rolls, we just did half sheet pans for today because we don't need to have that many. And just for fun, we're going to make some in foil pans so that you can see how to frost the whole pan. We're going to start at 30 minutes to check and see how fast the dough is running. Our smaller pieces might be close to ready, the 1 and 1.5 ounce. The larger pieces can take 2 to 3 hours. So it's always better to start low, come back and check. Okay, we'll see you in a little bit. Okay, so one thing to note is that even though we have our settings at the 85, we actually have it set at 80. Our box is running 86 degrees because of the product inside. We have our temperature set at 70, but because of the humidity set at 70, but because of how hot and humid it is up here, we're actually running 80 degrees. So we actually have 20 minutes left on our timer, but our product's ready to go. Okay. On the first pan, this is called the dimple test. You see the product is blooming. It's double in size. When you place your finger, it leaves a dimple, but it doesn't collapse the product. So this tray is ready to go. We're gonna get ready to put it in the oven. Let's check the next pan. Okay, this pan, there's no dimple yet, so this one's not ready. This one, we're double in size. The coils are starting to unravel. This is normal for some of the rolls too, so don't panic. Okay? Okay? We're not quite there yet. We're close to a dimple. This one needs about another 10 to 15 minutes. Now, because our first pan of proof and baked cinnamon rolls are ready, the 4.5 ounce, we're only going to bake that one pan at a time. Instead of waiting for the whole batch, when each pan is ready, based on how much yeast is in there and whether or not it's proofed, we already did the dimple test. We have double in size. We're going to bake the pan. So the important thing to know in proof and bake is when the pan's ready, the pan's ready. We need to stop what we're doing, and that's what we're going to bake. So we only have one to go right now. I'm laughing hysterically at the moment because I want to show you the perfect example of distracted baking. I want to show you this is in fact an example of overproofing. Not only have we doubled in size, we have tripled in size. We have deflated when we do the dimple test. Okay? This is really important. If you deflate, the product is overproofed, and that if you bake it, it's going to be hollow in the center, and it will collapse even after you finish baking it, and it will have craters and take a ton of frosting. So unless you want to feed the employees, don't forget to set the timer on your proof box because these are thoroughly overproofed.